All right, good morning. Welcome to the show. As the world slowly gets back to normal, I think one of the things on everybody's cards is definitely travel. But a person who's been working really actively to keep the travel blood flowing through people's veins as they go through a pandemic is with me in the studios this morning. I'm really happy to see Ivana, aka Travel Vlog Ivy, that you can find on Instagram, on YouTube. She's a YouTuber, content creator, especially for travel vlogs, lifestyle and whatnot. It's good to see you. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming here. And as we kind of do all this, I'm excited because, of course, people who might be listening to this have probably seen you online on your videos, on your Instagram maybe, and of course you've been that happy soul who's been bouncing off the places and whatnot. But before we get to anything else, you're not originally from Bangalore, but you consider yourself a Bangalorean,
Yeah,
right? So tell everybody where you're originally from. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. So originally I was born in former Yugoslavia. My mom is Serbian and my dad is Bosnian.
Wow.
But because of the war in the beginning of the 90s, former
Right.
Yugoslavia, it was almost like the Indian partition. I
Sure.
always compare it like that to explain
Sure.
to people like what it was.
Right.
Suddenly overnight, my parents became a mixed marriage from
Right.
two countries.
From two different countries, yeah.
Yeah, so we had to flee the country and we ended up in a small, tiny European country, the Netherlands.
Uh-huh.
But actually, the capital is better known, Amsterdam,
Right.
which was my home for 8 years before I came to Bangalore.
Now, before I even get to anything else, there's a very cool story of how you ended up in India,
Yeah.
right? And for those of you who are listening / watching this, you're probably, trying to plan your next trip. And I think, Ivana, you're probably the best person to kind of go to. We've got a couple of recommendations, right?
Yes,
that we're going to get to in a while. But before we get to that, how did a person who, like you said, parents from different countries, went to the Netherlands, and now, how did you end up in India? Tell me that story.
So, when I was 15 years old, I walked into the living room of my best friend who is Surinamese Hindustan. I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but the Netherlands actually had a lot of Indian people come to Suriname,
Sure.
where they started a whole like Hindustan Indian culture. And as I walked into the living room, there was this gorgeous movie on the TV, so many colors, and I saw this woman. I have never seen a more beautiful woman walk this earth.
Right.
Aishwarya Rai. And she was in the arms of a very charming man. And they were like so in love and looking at each other. And obviously I could not
Sure.
understand Hindi.
Yeah.
I still half can.
Right.
But it was Devdas.
Right. David,
And
right.
I was like, what is this? Where is this? How can I see this?
So you came to India to find her.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, Aishwarya Rai, I'm still looking for you.
Yeah.
No, but I think what I saw in that instant was a culture, a country, an emotion that I
Right.
wanted to experience. And ever since I was 15, India has been on my bucket list.
Right.
But obviously, growing older, there are interesting stories
Yeah, I'm sure.
in traditional media where
Yeah.
you feel like, is this a responsible idea? Is this a good idea?
Sure. Yeah.
So I started traveling back in 2015. And initially, India was, because of the climate recommendations, which now turn out to be complete nonsense. Maybe we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, India was initially the first country on my to-do list, but then actually as the plans turned, it became the last country, the
Right.
final country of that year.
Right.
So I was in Kuala Lumpur, having traveled a year all over Asia, and there was just this one country left that I had been waiting for since I was 15 to visit.
Sure.
I was supposed to fly to Delhi from Kuala Lumpur, but then the flight was really expensive. It was
Right.
like 500 euros or
Right.
something.
Right.
So I decided let me just check this like other flights, like maybe for other places to
Sure.
India.
Sure.
And this one place came up, never heard of it, Kochi.
Okay.
And that ticket was just like 100 euros. So I was
Right.
like, you know what? I
Why
don't
not?
care. We're going to Kochi.
Yeah.
Best decision ever. From now,
Wow.
I still recommend every single foreigner who comes to India for the first time to land in Kochi, because no matter how much I love Delhi, I adore it. It's just too intense if you're coming to India for the first time.
There's a reason they call it God's own country.
Definitely, because it was just the perfect landing.
Yeah.
I expected absolute chaos. waiting for hours at the airport to get through immigration. Nothing like that. I had my luggage. I was through immigration. I had my SIM card, and I was on a local bus all within, I think, 20 minutes. It was insane.
And then you experienced Kochi, and there was no going back.
No.
Right?
No, definitely
But then,
not.
of course, you're in Bangalore now. So
Yes.
how did that happen? Like, what was that decision like?
So I have traveled through a lot of places in India.
Sure.
From Ladakh to Kerala, Mumbai. Unfortunately, Northeast is still on my bucket list.
I've been, by the way, I'll make some recommendations to you.
I need to go. The
It's
thing
so
with
good.
Northeast is I want to take my time when I go there. I don't want to
understand.
go for 3 days.
I understand.
That doesn't make sense
Yes,
for me.
absolutely.
So, while Mumbai is my favorite city in the world, when I came to Bangalore for the first time, it seemed like a more rational place to
Sure,
start because
sure.
Bangalore
I like
is,
rational. That's a good word to use. Rational.
Oh, I'm very rational.
Except when we're on the road driving. Other than that, we're pretty rational.
But still, it's pretty good, I have to say.
And I'm just playing it.
Officially, like Bangalore has the worst traffic in the world.
Yeah.
But when you actually live here, you see how through all of the chaos, there is a lot of organization.
Some sanity. Yeah. I agree.
Definitely.
I agree. So that's how you just decided Bangalore because of the pure love of it, and then
So Bangalore is actually quite centrally located in India. If you're traveling, it's so easy.
it's well connected to everything.
Exactly. And
Right.
even international Bangalore is
Sure.
so well connected.
Yeah.
Obviously, the weather is fantastic.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm just yeah.
Then I feel there is this beautiful mix of people from outside, but also the true Karnataka culture,
Yeah.
which I think is very important. It's not
Beautiful.
just like a lot of people, they barely scratch the surface of Bangalore, but when
Sure.
you actually live here and you get to immerse yourself also in Karnataka culture,
Sure.
you see like how much character and personality, and there's so much to discover
Makes
from
sense.
the local culture. So
Yeah.
it's such a multi-dimensional city in India, which I think is highly underrated. And as a starting point for a life in India, it's absolutely
It's
perfect.
perfect. Yeah. And you've been here for, like you said, eight years? Is
No,
that
3.5.
3.5. Okay. But in India for 8.
I've been traveling in India since 2015.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Now, speaking of you traveling in India,
Yes.
I want to get your experience as a solo, woman traveler across India. Have you personally had any experiences? Have you felt safe traveling? Is it something that you'd recommend to a lot of people or not?
I think if I wouldn't be that kind of person who says like, oh, everybody should travel solo, because it's just not for some people. My best friend, for instance, she just finds it boring, and it doesn't have anything to do with whether she's capable to travel solo or not.
Sure.
So if it doesn't fit your personality, I wouldn't recommend it to people. But as a woman who does love solo travel, because it's so much easier to
Sure.
meet new people when you're traveling solo, you will experience things that you definitely will not get the opportunity to if you are with another person, simply because also other people feel intimidated to approach you if you are with somebody else.
Yeah.
Whether if you are alone, it's just easier for them to
approach
come to you. But as a woman who does love solo travel, I definitely think India is worth it, because there is this inherent community DNA where people really take care of each other, even in daily life, by just calling each other like Didi, bhai, uncle, auntie. No, there is a certain sense
Yeah.
of connection there
Sure.
that
sure.
I can't find anywhere else in the
Right,
world. So when
right.
you're traveling solo, it's so easy for people to adopt you. And
I get it. I get it. You feel that instant connection, then there's no
Yeah.
going back. I
Exactly.
get it. And you've experienced that love from India firsthand. Can I say that?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a follower of mine on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Manmeet. And her Instagram name is Beautiful Foodie. She just messaged me like, hey, when you're in Delhi, I would love to show you some amazing food places.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, awesome, let's do this. So we ended up becoming such good friends in actually just half a day that her family invited me to stay over with
Aw.
him. Like a true Punjabi family.
Oh, that's lovely.
And I stayed with them for 3 days. Her mom was honestly
Just feeding you. Am I right?
just feeding me all the time, biscuits, chai, rajma, everything, home cooked food.
Oh,
And the thing
man.
is, like, when you're solo traveling, I really miss that. I really miss like that
That home
homely
touch.
feeling.
I know.
And It was just the best.
From a perspective of, you came in and we recently just got talking about your last trip.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, my gosh.
Which was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So as travel opens up and having you here as a travel vlogger and a YouTuber, I would love for you to kind of take everybody through the last place that you visited, which would be your top recommendation to people as they start traveling, number one, and also 3 things that you feel they should do in that place. Go ahead.
So that place that you have like incredibly hyped up already is Lakshadweep. I just came back 3 weeks ago and I'm still dreaming about it.
Right.
It had been on my bucket list for the longest of time,
Right.
but I was always apprehensive of going there because you need a permit and it's not easy to go there.
Sure.
And there's a reason for that because it is a conservation area. But that is actually also the exact reason why you should go.
Right.
Because Lakshadweep is just so pristine and it's a conservation area, so there are a lot of places where you just get to have like those beautiful white beaches and turquoise waters completely to yourself. It's like no place in the world that I've seen before.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. And say, for example, someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, listen, Ivana recommends Lakshadweep. My next travel destination might be there. And of course, what would be your top 3 recommendations to do in the Lakshadweep? Go ahead.
Obviously, number one, diving. Even if I am a certified diver, and I know you are as well.
Yes.
So if you are into diving, oh my gosh, because it is a conservation area, it's just so beautiful and so untouched, so absolutely magical to go diving. But even if you are not certified, they have these introduction dives where you can just go up to, I think, 6 meters or
6
something.
meters, yeah.
Still, it's so incredibly impressive because there's still a lot of coral, which is not even that deep.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We saw Nemo.
Really?
Yeah, it
Clownfish.
was really
Okay,
cool.
right.
Then I would say definitely an island trip. I went to Tinakara for half a day. There was nobody there because it was being renovated.
Sure.
It's literally like you've stranded on a deserted island and you get to play there for hours and have the whole island for yourself.
Yeah.
So definitely go island hopping. And then I would say kayaking is also really
Perfect.
cool. Yeah.
So top 3 things to do. Fantastic. As we're kind of chatting right now, Vishal, who's kind of doing our video right now, he drops me, he's like, he wants me to ask you this question, which is, and this is a tough choice, man. This is a really tough question. So like,
what is coming my way?
he wants to know if if you had to pick one, is it mountains or beaches?
Oh, beaches.
Any
That's
day?
not hard. No, not even remotely hard.
Oh,
No,
for
no,
me,
no.
it's hard to pick. Like, it's hard because I like both. So yeah.
Fun fact, I was actually raised in the mountains in Bosnia. So I grew up almost
so now
in a joint family situation.
that makes sense. So now she's getting
to be
the other
honest.
side of things, which is why.
No, my body
Right.
can't handle cold. It's
Really?
literally one of the main reasons why I shifted from Netherlands to India. I can't handle cold.
My body can't handle Bangalore right now. I don't know.
This is intense for Bangalore standards.
It is.
Definitely.
Listen, we can go on endlessly, but I strongly suggest that if you're listening to this, what you got to look up is head on over to Instagram, look for Travel Vlog IV. That's her Instagram handle. She's on YouTube as well. I want to thank you for coming in and taking the time out because seeing the world of travel through your eyes is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I hope you go on to inspire many, many, many more people to travel and see the world as things slowly get back to normal. Ivana, thank you. It's been an honor having you here on Radio 1, and I wish you only the best.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
94.3 Radio 1.